Oh, are we on now?
We are on now.
Oh, okay. Now I hear you. Now I hear.
There we go. There we go.
For a second, and I was like, "Oh, you can't hear me?"
Yeah. So I said in the car, and I told you this, Pierre.
Yeah.
I was like, I hit the button and I said, "Call Pierre Nugent," and the car goes, "Calling Pierre Nugent." Like,
hey, well, and they say AI is going to take over the world.
Yeah, we've got some lead time, but I'll tell you, I tweeted this weekend. There are a ton of Google AI commercials during the Olympics, and a ton of Meta AI commercials during the Olympics.
Yes.
My wife is an Olympics fanatic. I thought I really liked them. I thought I really liked them. Pierre, I don't think we have anything on her.
Well, I would be surprised if we did. I just got done watching the USA men getting a huge win in water polo just now, and but I doubt we're. I love watching the Olympics. Don't get me wrong, I really do. But yeah, I doubt we're as big as your wife.
I mean, she was fired up for our bronze medal archery match the other day, like mixed archery.
Yeah,
yeah. Like
no doubt.
That chick can't see clearly. Like we got it. We got this. Talking noise to the Korean team. I mean, it wasn't all of her Kansas fan comes out for these Olympics.
I love it.
Watching us lose in swimming, the ones that I say we lose. We medal in almost every event in swimming, but not winning gold. Look, I cannot tell you how much disdain she has for Leon Marchand.
Yes.
Just because he's now out there, dominating golds away from us in overall medal count. So.
Right. It's funny because it's funny that you bring up the Olympics. I was having this debate with friends of mine just yesterday, and it's still continuing right now in our text conversation. Paul, out of curiosity, what would you consider to be the signature event of the Summer Olympics? There's not really a correct answer, in my opinion. There are plenty of wrong answers. But in your opinion, what do you think is the signature event of the Summer Olympics?
It just happened yesterday, the 100-meter dash.
Correct. That is the answer that I had as well.
And look, I'll even say it's both 100-meter dashes. Both of them.
Yeah, fair.
The 100-meter dash and the men and the women. Now, granted, the men is going to be a little bit more popular, although, good on St. Lucia. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I think that's, especially for Americans, and that is one in the men. We haven't won in 20 years because of 3 Usain Bolts and a rando Italian. So a rando Italian is a podcast I'm going to do one day.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for that one.
I just show you how to make chicken cutlets.
I was just shocked at the number. Personally, my favorite event during the Summer Olympics is the swimming. I love the swimming.
Yeah, me too.
I will watch the swimming all day long. But I've always felt the men's 100-meter dash is the signature event of the Summer Olympics, and I'm shocked to see some of these friends of mine saying Team USA men's basketball, like the gold medal game. There's a case I think that can be made for the women's team gymnastics, the all around. Yeah. I think the case can be made for that, no doubt. But I was just a little surprised. Is all. That's all.
Yeah. No. I'm. Look, there are big events for us. I was a huge fan of the 1992 Dream Team.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of the 92 Dream Team. I've enjoyed it subsequently less over the years, although now that the NBA is much more of an international product, we do have, I don't want us to lose, but I'd like to know that we have a chance to. So I think that that's better.
Yeah.
And I understand that this is the way it's going to be as long as they keep rolling out their pros, which is what they were doing, and we were rolling out with college kids, then we have to roll out our pros. I just don't think that's necessarily good for certain, we can roll out the pros in tennis and golf and stuff like that, and there's not such a gap, between the talent level.
Yeah.
If you watched golf yesterday, about 7 different countries had a shot at the gold before Scottie Scheffler won it, right. And so that's one that, there's not, but the only time we've lost since 1992 was the laziest team in the history of basketball that got together.
06, 08,
08, yeah, 08, yeah, 08.
We took bronze, yeah.
Yeah, so we took the bronze in 08, and that was just a bunch of dudes who didn't care, and then we brought in Kobe in 2012, and he whipped these dudes into shape, right? If you've ever seen that Netflix doc, it's incredible because it's basically everybody talking about, we were out partying, we're in Greece or whatever, or wherever they were getting ready and playing the prelims, and they're walking back to the hotel at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. They're getting on the elevator. Kobe's coming down to work out, and then LeBron and those guys are like, we don't get this. Like, this is not, we're not doing, Kobe's here for work. We need to match his energy.
Yep.
And it's my favorite Kobe Bryant story ever. Kyle Visser says the woman that won the bicycle race that wasn't a cyclist like 8 years ago. That was a great one. And of course, again, it's a USA gold. And then, what's amazing about that race was she just took off, and then like the three behind her were like, well, we don't have that.
Yeah.
We can't. I'm not, like, they looked at each other like, are you gonna? And like, what do you mean? It's been 49 miles. Are you nuts?
And for me, it's always like when it comes to the basketball and even soccer and tennis, I'm a little less, although I have a date in about 45 minutes to watch the motherland, Egypt, go up in the semifinals against France in soccer. So I will be watching that. But those kind of sports that we see very often in the U.S., whether it's the NBA season or soccer season or in tennis and all that, I'm less interested in those because I don't get to watch water polo all that often. And that's a great sport. And I don't get to see track and field all that often. And that's a great sport. And some of these, I've got a split screen right now on my television showing me 4 different things going on right now. One of them includes synchronized swimming and field hockey. And you would think I was born in Southern California as a synchronized swimming expert with the way I'm watching this thing right now.
Oh, hey, like everybody all of a sudden becomes experts in these sports. That's like, right. You ever like sit around like with a group of people at like the bar during the Olympics, and then somebody's like, no, man, really in fencing, it's all about the parry. And you're like, shut the F up. You didn't know what this was a week ago. You just saw it, and then you saw Snoop Dogg talking about it. You thought it was funny. So you started watching it and kind of getting into it because it's different. It's not something we see all the time. But as soon as the Olympics are over, you're not going to go to internationalfencing.com and live stream the events. Exactly. You're not doing that. Like
and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
You don't get to see it all that often. It comes on. It's something new. That's what makes it fun. I love it.
Yeah. Beach volleyball is one of my favorites.
Yes.
Our women's team had a thriller against Italy yesterday in the quarters, in the round of 16. I know there's a quarter, but in the quarterfinals, round of 16. And then our men's team has Chase Budinger, former Arizona star basketball player.
Former Minnesota Timberwolf, yes.
Yeah. And what's funny to me about that is the volleyball players are some of the best athletes in all of the games. And they do amazing things. But they've never seen anything like Chase Budinger before.
No.
Like, he's the NBA, he's just a guy. And beach volleyball, he's like, no, please go play in the NBA again. We need you to.
Yes.
We don't. Because even the tallest guy in beach volleyball is like, 6'4" normally.
Right.
Tall guys, but they're short guys. There's no, like, definite build for a beach volleyball player. It's really more about your overall athleticism.
Yeah.
But to have a guy that, no matter how tall you are, he's got a 50-50 chance of blocking your best stuff is got to be nerve-wracking. And not even because clearly he's an Olympic level volleyball player. Just God made him that much taller and can do those things. You're like, well, this is not right.
Yeah.
I've been playing against guys my size.
Yeah, you got to be looking at it. You said about 6'4", maybe 6'5" is about as tall as I've seen in beach volleyball. But then, when Chase Budinger walks in, what if they had Bull on the next team, like next year, 4 years? Like, wouldn't that be something on the volleyball team?
Yeah, you know what I would do if I was any of these sports, I would go find the lower rung of the professional sports of guys who are really good athletes, but they're not like, they're playing in Turkey, like basketball players that are playing in Turkey and being like, listen, I can guarantee you the same money. I'm going to teach you how to do this other sport. The other thing I would do is if I was the UFL or the CFL, it doesn't really work this way in the NFL anymore. There's no more Bob Hayeses. Occasionally you'll see a sprinter go and play, in the NFL.
Yeah.
But if I was in the UFL, what I would do is I would find the guys who are coming in like 12th in the 100, like not making the qualifying, and being like, look, you're never going to beat Noah Lyles. You're never going to beat whoever Jamaica throws out there. It is their national sport, is track and field.
Yeah.
That is their thing. But what I could teach you how to do is return kicks, and we're going to pay you $100,000 a year. And land sakes alive, now you've got something. That's what I would do. I would be, if I was working for The Rock right now in the UFL, I'd be post up in Paris at track and field. I'd be looking for shot putters who can't crack the top 10. I'd be looking for sprinters like those, because look, they're still premier Olympic athletes, but are you really, let's talk Turkey here. You're not winning a medal. Like, you can come and I don't care if you come and represent your country all 4 years if you want to do this, but would you like to come and make a steady paycheck doing something else?
We saw this with Al Davis, too. James Jett is the prime example. The wide receiver for the Raiders back in the day, lined up opposite side Tim Brown. I mean, he was an Olympic sprinter. I don't remember how he fared in the Olympics. I just knew he was an Olympic-level sprinter. But, I mean, that was Al Davis for you. I mean, speed at every turn. That's what he would be on the hunt for. Mm-hmm. So, I agree with you entirely. I mean, just because you qualify for the Olympics, you got to run in these heats. Even if you don't make the finals, if you don't medal, it doesn't suddenly mean that you're a bum. I mean, obviously you're good enough to get there, and that means something. That talent and that athletic ability has to translate over into something else too, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you a problem I've had in these Olympics, and you love the swimming and I love the swimming.
Yeah.
There's a problem for me with our swimmers.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can figure out what it is.
Well, I have certainly been frustrated watching some of these events. Yes.
No, it's just in any other walk of life outside the Olympics, given where these people train and where they go to school,
yes,
and who their coach is, I would not do that. Like, I've even in a couple of occasions, a couple of Olympics ago, when they had a swimmer that I kind of hoped that we sent to another country, and Ryan Lochte, because he's just a gigantic douche nozzle. It's hard for me to cheer for the Gators on the swim team. And it doesn't even make me mad at Florida, because they clearly were smart enough to be the hub of Olympic swimming because they're the best swim program. It makes me very mad at my alma mater that we let that happen.
Yeah.
You know what? It's NIL time. Whoever the next Katie Ledecky is that's not in college yet, if I was in charge of that, she'd be coming to Florida State. Like, the next Caleb Dressel is not going to the swamp. He's coming to Tallahassee. That's what I want. I sent that message out to a bunch of my friends, and they were like, as long as we're better in football, they can have whatever else they want. And I'm like, no, guys, no. we need to eliminate them. We want them to be like, look at you're the glory days of Caleb Dressel. That's over now.
Yeah. I will even admit, if memory serves me right, and I think it does, but I'm more than happy to be wrong on this case. And for anybody watching, just put your phone away right now. Don't try to just hear me out for a quick second. I believe I heard Donald Trump even once say that, even kind of comment on the fact, why do we have like all of these superior athletes from overseas come over here and train and use our equipment and use all of our facilities and all of our world-class stuff to train to get them to the best that they can, and then go represent another country and beat us in the Olympics. Now, whether you want to consider that xenophobic or whatever it is, let's put that to the side right now. On face value, it makes a little bit of sense to me. Like, wait a minute. What? But like you, I can't be mad at the college universities for finding these athletes and giving these kids scholarships to represent your school. So it's like, where is the happy medium here we need to find? Yeah.
Again, you put me in charge of recruiting people all over the world for whatever sport I need to for FSU. And when they win a gold medal for Kazakhstan, I'm not going to be that sad about it because they'll be winning events for me. You know, I'd go get those 2 Ukrainian girls that finished, you know, gold, silver in the pole vault the high jump yesterday.
Yeah.
And be like, all right, listen, you know what's better than Kiev? Tallahassee.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding.
Do you want,
and then, like, on top of it too,
Putin's nowhere close to invading Tallahassee. I'll just say
I would venture to guess if you went around every major Division I's men's and women's tennis teams, I would venture to guess over 50% of them would be athletes of a different country.
Over 60. It's over. Yeah. It's more than that. When back in the day, one of my side hustles was doing, I think you probably know this, doing PA for Baylor sporting events.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they when baseball was full time for a while, but sometimes if they had like a big event, they'd be like, hey, we need somebody to come do this. I had a ton of friends that were SIDs. They're like, well, Paul, do you want to make $75 for 2 hours of work? And I'd be like, absolutely, I do. Beer is not free. So I went to go to Georgia was playing Baylor in tennis at the indoor facility. And they gave me Georgia's roster. And I went to Coach Knoll. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, Matt, who's their coach that I can ask about these names? And he's like, oh, well, he used to work for me. He's right over there. So I was like, okay, go over and talk to him. So I go over and I'm like, hey, I've got to announce these names. And let's just pretend that I never spent time in the Eastern Bloc. Because this is tough. And I don't want to be disrespectful by going, Goran, you know, basically it runs out. So then I'd have to go, like, I went to each one of them, like, wrote it out phonetically. But then, like, you get, you know, the deeper you get into that part of the world, the thicker the accents are. And I felt like such a dick because I was like, you got to say it again. Let's just, I'm an American. I'm in the South. I'm sorry. And then you have to only announce them for singles and then 45 minutes to an hour later for doubles. So only had to do it twice. So it's an easy set. Like I thought easy $75. Honestly, give me an all-day track event.
Right.
Like just reading that for $25 less, it would have been way better than me sitting. And it was on the ground too. I'm just holding a mic, standing in a corner, like sitting like this. I just pantomime holding a mic when I have one in front of me. But Jonathan, you know, and like I'm just like sweating absolute bullets. I've done no physical activity other than talk, and it's just I'm so nervous.
You thought it was going to be the easiest $75 you ever made for 2 hours, and look what it turned out to be.
No, the only thing I can compare it to is Euless Trinity is a high school that is in Fort Worth area, and they have a great many Tongan immigrants that go there. They, in fact, before the game, they do that's really awesome. They do a haka dance, like that's their warm up, and they teach all the American kids how to do it. You can tell which ones are the American kids. Just like the few, like, you know, I say American, but like, you know, Texas kids. Yeah, right. The few that are there, like, guess which one is Craig Jones? 71. I can tell. But you have to, like, if you're doing a high school game before Euless Trinity, you do have to call up and go through their names of their coach phonetically. And sometimes I've been on the phone with him, and he'll just call down the hall, and he'd be like, Ule! Come here. How you say your last name, bud? And then he'll say it, and I write it down. And, you know, that was also hard because that's 3 hours of a broadcast.
Yeah.
And then,
oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. The hard thing with that is sometimes you're like, all right, tell me who 15 is. And he's like, don't worry about it. Like, oh, is he hurt? Like, is he hurt? No, might as well be. He's not going to play. He's just full of
He's just full of heart.
God bless him.
But not full of legs and arms.
Well,
so we're not going to use him all that much. When we come back,